events. We appreciate you spending part of your evening with us. That is Nightly News for this Tuesday night. I'm Lester Holt. For all of us at NBC News, thank you for watching and good night.
More Americans watch NBC News than any other news organization in the world.
Arizona Nightly News, Arizona's choice at 6 p.m.
Now from Arizona's news leader, breaking news, President Trump in the Valley.
We're now about an hour away from the president taking the stage at the Phoenix Convention Center.
This is not Trump's house. This is our house.
Blacks for Trump, and all of us support him, no matter what they're trying to say.
12 News at 6 starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The eyes of America on Phoenix tonight. We're just about an hour away from President Trump holding a campaign rally at the Phoenix Convention Center. These are live pictures coming to you from downtown Phoenix, where very loud protests have been going on for the last hour and a half to 2 hours.
Air Force One landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor shortly after 3:45. Multiple Arizona lawmakers were on the tarmac to greet President Donald Trump.
Governor Doug Ducey among those welcoming the president to the Valley. Here is a picture that the governor tweeted out earlier today. And once again, a live look at the convention center. Supporters of President Trump started lining up as late as last night to get a seat inside for the rally. Of course, the president has a very loyal fan base here in Phoenix.
And as we've been reporting for several hours, thousands of supporters and protesters converging on the downtown Phoenix area. We've seen some very colorful signs, to say the least, words and emotions on display.
Earlier today, the president made a brief stop in Yuma to meet with the U.S. Border Patrol down there, get a look at some of the latest technology that's being used by Border Control to fight illegal immigration. He also spent some time with some of the Marines stationed at the Marine Corps Air Station there. We want to warn you, there's quite a bit of offensive images from these protests tonight. Offensive words are being used. Some of our coverage, in fact, most of it is live. So we're going to apologize in advance. We're going to do our best to make sure that you don't hear or see any of those offensive images or words, but live TV is always risky. So consider yourself warned, but we will do our best as the emotions run very high outside among those protesters. We have live team coverage of the president's visit for you tonight. We have multiple crews on the ground and, of course, expert analysis standing by here in the studio.
We're going to kick everything off with Team 12's Bram Resnick. He is live inside the convention center where President Trump will be speaking here in just about an hour. Bram?
This is Donald Trump's 8th visit to Arizona, his first as president. This room he has booked holds 19,000 people, the largest room he has booked to date. As I look around me, I would say there are 5 to 6 in here right now. Can't tell you how many are still waiting outside. Now, the Donald Trump you saw last night delivering a speech on Afghanistan policy, the new policy, was very measured, deliberate. Today he's delivering a speech to a crowd that wants red meat, so warning, this speech could be very different. We are expecting to hear from President Trump, also from Vice President Mike Pence, who has joined him. However, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, longtime Donald Trump supporter, won't be here. Governor Doug Ducey won't be here. He says he's minding emergency operations for the security of the event. 2 other top Republicans, Jeff Flake and John McCain, both our senators, also will not be here. We are expecting the president to speak about his immigration policy, the border. You saw he was in Yuma earlier today. He has a pretty good story to tell there, at least as far as living up to his promises. Deportations are up, border crossings are down since Trump took office. That's a story this crowd will want to hear. There are also some big political questions. Trump's been at war with Jeff Flake. Will he endorse a successor to Jeff Flake, an opponent? We'll have more later, live from the Phoenix Convention Center. Bram Resnick, 12 News.
Bram, before you go, I'd like to ask you a quick question. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can, Mark.
There's been some chatter that there might be some sort of a concession towards Dreamers tonight in exchange for some money from Congress for the wall. Have you heard anything at all about that?
There was reporting today that there might be a deal in the works, an immigration reform deal, in which the Trump administration would agree to give Dreamers some kind of long-term, maybe even permanent status. Their status could be in jeopardy as soon as September. In exchange from that, the Trump administration would get from Congress funding for the border wall as well as other immigration concessions. I don't know what we'll hear on that tonight, Mark.
All right, Bram Resnick leading our reporting from the Phoenix Convention Center. Of course, he'll be in there tonight when the president speaks live, and we'll go back to him as soon as that ends later on tonight for our complete wrap-up at 10 o'clock. We're covering this story from many different angles for you, inside the convention center with Bram, and of course out on the streets of Phoenix.
That's where we find Ryan Cody. And Ryan, set the scene for us where you're at. So far, it seems like things have been pretty mellow all afternoon.
Fairly mellow, but for the first time in about the last half hour or so on this side, the south side of the Phoenix Convention Center, we've seen some protesters show up on the street corner behind me. But I want to set the scene a little bit more. What you're looking at right here, this is the end of the line of people trying to get into the Phoenix Convention Center. They are going the opposite direction, down 3rd Street to Jefferson, across Chase Field, and then back around to this side of the street. This over here is sort of closer to getting into the convention center. So I'm talking, not even an exaggeration, 3/4 of a mile to maybe a mile long of this line of folks who have not yet even gotten into the Phoenix Convention Center. And as you can see, there are also plenty of people already inside. So that hall can hold about 19,000 people. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we could hit that number. Maybe some of those people will not be able to get in now. About the protesting that's been going on. A lot of what we've seen is people protesting what they're calling racism from the administration and from other people, from Trump supporters. So I actually brought that question to a diverse group of Trump supporters earlier on today to ask them what their opinions were of all of the racism talk recently.
They twist the truth, and what they say is right is wrong, and what they say is wrong is right.
Specifically, how are we twisting things around?
They're saying that they're saying that Trump's a racist. He is clearly not a racist. He's done more for the black communities and real estate than most businessmen.
So you've heard reporters on television say Donald Trump is a racist?
Well, maybe not reporters, but yes, I've heard it on the radios. I have heard it on the news.
Well, that's actually not the soundbite that we were talking about, but earlier I talked to some Donald Trump supporters who were telling me that they don't see racism in anything that he is saying and that he's not bringing racist rants or anything like that to the media. So that's just opposite of what we're hearing from some of the people that are protesting out here. But again, a huge crowd, thousands of people. This is the end of the line. Many, many folks still waiting to get inside the Phoenix Convention Center, but right now, things peaceful at the moment, just some friendly conversation going back and forth between protesters and President Donald Trump supporters. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll be here throughout the evening to let you know if anything changes, guys.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much. Well, as many as 19,000 people could show up for tonight's campaign rally. Let's keep our team coverage rolling with this breaking news. We're going to head out to Team 12's Kevin Kennedy. He is live outside the Phoenix Convention Center. Kevin?
Yeah, we're on the corner of 2nd and Monroe, and boy, we are certainly in the heart of this Trump protest, if you will, on the corner of 2nd Street and Monroe, and you can see the crowd that is gathered out here right now. Phoenix police doing a really good job of essentially kind of keeping things in an orderly fashion, but you can certainly tell that the majority of the people out here, at least on this street corner, are protesting Trump's visit here to Arizona. A lot of them have come with signs. They have been chanting all along. You can even see some folks up in the parking garage up here on 2nd Street and Monroe. But obviously there is a large group of people that are here today to basically say, look, Mr. President, we don't want you here, and we're very upset with some of your policies and your practices dealing with the wall, dealing with some of the hate and some of the other stuff that has been said over the past few days. Now, earlier we caught up with some folks from the Puente movement. They're part of this large movement that are out here right now, part of the people that marched from down 2nd Street all the way down to 3rd Street in Monroe against the president. We spoke with some folks from Puente earlier in terms of why they decided this was an important day for them to come out and say, we don't want the president visiting Arizona.
Got to. I'm here to put my body on the line. I'm here to put my freedom on the line, just to let people know that, like, that's not okay. This is my country too. As a woman, as a brown person, it's my country just as much as anyone else's, and I'm going to fight for it just like anyone else would.
Now, certainly the good news back live out here is the fact that everything has been relatively orderly. Certainly there are strong opinions on both sides of this, if you will. The president showing up here and speaking, and a lot of the president's supporters, and then obviously protesters. Certainly a lot of strong opinions, but for the most part, there really hasn't been any sort of violence or anybody getting out of hand. A couple people have kind of gotten in each other's faces. There's been some taunting, there's been some finger pointing, but for the most part, the good news, at least up to this point, this protest or counter-protest, whatever you want to call it, has remained relatively calm. Credit Phoenix Police and the law enforcement here in the Valley for having to do with that. We're live in downtown Phoenix. I'm Kevin Kennedy, 12 News.
All right, Kevin, good to see that everyone is behaving out there this afternoon. Well, as we've mentioned, tonight's visit is a campaign rally for President Trump. And so we're asking you, if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2020, would you vote for him? You can weigh in on our live interactive poll right now. Just head to 12news.com/yourvoice. And Mark, it looks like majority are saying no, that they wouldn't.
Right, 84% so far, and these are real-time results. And if you don't like those numbers, then vote. Weigh in and say you would vote for President Trump. So many times people say that the numbers don't reflect what they said. Well, they do. And so what you need to do is to go to 12news.com/yourvoice. And if you don't like the way these numbers are skewing, it's up to you to change them. We do not control these numbers.
Yeah, so we'll have this poll going through the duration of our newscast, which will last an hour, and so we'll have those final results revealed a little bit later. Well, as we wait for the president to take the stage tonight, the world is waiting to see what he says. But is it too soon to make new campaign vows when he's only a few months into his term as president? Team 12's Nico Santos shows us 3 promises Donald Trump made during his inauguration that we still haven't seen come true.
And I will never, ever let you down.
That was President Trump's inauguration address, which kind of reflected a tamer version of the speeches he had during his campaign, a campaign that at times got pretty chaotic.
Politicians have made millions off the backs of hardworking Americans, and that's why I voted for Donald Trump.
He was an outsider. That's what drew a lot of people to the polls to get President Trump into the White House. But many passionately disagreed. Like the protesters at Mr. Trump's rally in Fountain Hills, where demonstrators blocked traffic, chaining themselves to cars. Trump is already on the trail for 2020, but before we get that far, here are 3 goals Trump hasn't achieved yet.
We will bring back our borders.
First, immigration. The border wall Trump repeatedly promised has hit a lot of obstacles. Construction hasn't started, and it's still not clear how the president plans to force Mexico to pay.
To free the earth from the miseries of disease.
Second, health care. His attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act have failed twice. The president saying nobody knew health care could be so complicated.
Radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely.
Trump promised to destroy ISIS within 30 days in office, but ISIS has taken credit for the attack in Barcelona last week. Back here in Arizona, Trump had a strong backing by political figures, like when former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio called out other Republicans for their generic endorsements.
Not that I will support the nominee. It would be nice to say I will support Donald Trump.
And former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer defending some of his comments.
Or if someone insults you, that you insult them back?
Well, and I know Donald Trump, and that's not the Donald Trump that I know.
Nico Santos, 12 News.
Back in June, President Trump claimed to have accomplished more than most previous presidents, though he did sign more executive orders in his first 100 days than any recent president. Some of the orders have involved border security, travel restrictions against some Muslim-majority countries, and stripping grant money from sanctuary cities.
Well, one of the biggest questions surrounding this visit, would President Trump pardon former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio?
Team 12's Joe Dana has been following the Arpaio story for many years, several years, and what can you tell us?
Well, a White House spokesperson is saying the president won't take action tonight to pardon the controversial former sheriff. But the president's recent comments about Arpaio make him a centerpiece of protest tonight just the same. For immigrant rights activists, he's been public enemy #1. So much emotional and political capital invested in seeing this one man get what they believe he deserves. These past few days have put Joe Arpaio's criminal conviction in doubt, with President Trump saying, "I am seriously considering a pardon for Sheriff Arpaio. He has done a lot in the fight against illegal immigration. He's a great American patriot, and I hate to see what has happened to him." That comment 9 days ago fueled speculation that the president may announce a pardon tonight.
And the president cannot do this to our community.
Some say a pardon would be a way for the president to return the favor after Arpaio publicly endorsed then candidate Trump.
It's just easy to endorse him because everything I believe in, he's doing, and he's going to do it when he becomes president.
But late this afternoon, the White House has suggested there will be no pardon announcement. Nonetheless, protesters are expected to take to the streets tonight with the president and Joe Arpaio on their minds. And look, President Trump's been sort of unpredictable on this. A lot of people thought he would step in and prevent the prosecution of Arpaio way back in February, March. He didn't. The Justice Department prosecuted him. He was found guilty. And so now some are saying, well, maybe he's just waiting a few days to kind of take the air out of all of the tension that we're seeing around this event tonight. And so it may be inevitable.
And
we'll
look,
see.
if he did pardon Arpaio tonight and there was violence and people were hurt, it would just be another thing for people to blame on the president.
Sure.
So maybe people that he trusts and listens to, although ultimately we know that he's a man who makes his own decisions.
Yep.
Maybe he decided to hold off or at some point. But the one thing that we do know about President Trump is he is extremely loyal, and loyalty towards him means a lot and goes a long way. And his relationship with Joe Arpaio goes way back.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people in his inner circle in the White House would disagree how loyal he is to them because
People
most of them are gone.
Right.
But I'm assuming, yes, the sheriff is hoping that Donald Trump, President Trump, will be loyal to him. He said in an interview last week that he is expecting, he made it sound like he was already perhaps given some kind of a promise, because he said, I do expect to be pardoned eventually, and I will accept it. But who knows what could change between now and whenever that happens.
Wanted to mention, we're just getting word that the presidential motorcade has left whatever location it's at, whether it was at the Monte Lucia Hotel.
The Omni Monte Lucia is where he's staying tonight.
Or somewhere else. It is on its way to the convention center, so all systems appear to be on time for the president.
Okay, so going back really quickly to the pardon, it may not happen tonight, but a pardon could still be on the way. So we wanted to know how you felt about a possible Joe Arpaio pardon.
Here's what people had to say about the former sheriff.
I'm not that rabid of a Republican that I would go to a rally for him, but I hope he's coming to pardon Joe Arpaio.
I really don't. There's too much division in the state. I'm not going to say anything bad about Sheriff Joe. He did a lot of good things. He did some things that weren't too good now.
A lot of people, of course, will be opposed to it. But I think the Arpaio thing was unfair.
But I don't think a pardon is called for. I really don't. If I was to have done the crime, I would have done the time.
Well, he is certainly a polarizing figure. You have people who have extreme love and loyalty towards this president. And if you say anything that disparages him, you're the enemy. On the other hand, you have a lot of people that dislike the president and his policies and what he's done so far. Both are on full display tonight as you look at these live pictures of protesters gathered outside the convention center, as well as hundreds of people that are lined up waiting to get inside the convention center.
It should be said, it's pretty incredible the turnout for this speech tonight.
Yeah, Bram said that it was the largest that he had seen, and he's covered all of President Trump's visit. Of course, then he was candidate Trump, right? Now he's the president. But he did say that it was the biggest crowd he had seen.
Considering on a random Tuesday night here, there's no specific, event tied to this. Just that the campaign started sending out invites a week ago when they made the. we could see this place of 19,000 seats possibly fill.
Well, sure. And remember this also, it isn't that often that whether you like the president or you dislike the president, and whatever your political affiliation may be, it's not that often that you get to see a sitting president live in your town.
That's right. Seeing Air Force One at our very own airport, Phoenix Sky Harbor, seeing the motorcade move through the city, streets blocked off.
We may have a lot of people going in there tonight that aren't necessarily ardent Trump supporters, but they want to see the president. Right. They're Americans, they're taxpayers, they want a chance to see. Maybe they're undecided, but they want a chance to see their president.
Well, social media is playing a big role in this high-profile presidential visit. Team 12's Tram Mai is live in the Alert Center tracking it for us tonight. Tram?
Yeah, Karibe, you better believe that people have really been lighting up social media as we get closer to Trump's big rally that's happening in less than an hour. We're talking almost 40 minutes here from Facebook to Twitter. So let's hop online and show you what the president has been tweeting within the past hour, saying this: thank you to all of the great men and women at the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Facility in Yuma, Arizona, and around the United States. He also includes a nearly 2-minute video with that tweet as he's meeting with those people in Yuma. Let's go over to Governor Doug Ducey, who tweeted this: welcome to Arizona, Mr. President, just as the president landed before 4 p.m. this afternoon. He also tweeted, happy to welcome my good friend Vice President Pence to Arizona. Now, a big trend on Twitter is hashtag Phoenix Rally. You've got supporters who say, I support President Trump even more now than I did when I voted for him. Then there's this video showing protesters chanting, no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA. But that's not all. Let's go to Facebook now. Some posting on Arizona supporters of President Trump, showing what it's like as people wait to get inside the Phoenix Convention Center. Now, on the flip side, a lot of people posting on Protest Trump Arizona planning page. That page has gotten a lot of traction and activity within just the past couple of days. A lot of people obviously posting their opinions, their pictures, and their video all online. We will, of course, continue to monitor what's trending online, and we'll let you know if there's any breaking news developments. We're live in the Alert Center. Tram Mai, 12 News. Back to you.
All right, Tram, thanks. Coming up on 12 News at 6, there's been a big concern about protests turning violent tonight. So how are local hospitals gearing up for the rally? Plus, boy, has it been hot out there today. You got to feel for all of those thousands of people who've been waiting outside. The forecast is coming up.
Here come the last of our 2017s.
Toyota's national clearance event is the best part of summer.
And with 0% APR financing and great lease deals, it won't last long.
Oh, I'm so excited.
You are not alone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah! Yes!
But my job.
During the Toyota National Clearance Event, lease a new Corolla for just $159 a month or get 0% 72-month financing with $500 TFS assistance.
Save on the last of the 2017s. Come in today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Express Flooring makes the grade during our annual back-to-school sale. Not only will you get fast free in-home shopping,
you'll save 68% on new flooring.
And Express Flooring will even move your furniture for free. Call 800-EXPRESS.
Arriba Mexican Grill. Every recipe made fresh daily at 6 Valley locations. Need lunch? We've got a new special for every day of the week. For under $6. Now that's hot, just like our Hatch chilies.
Makes it hot. Arriba!
160,000 miles. That's, on average, how often you'll use your car insurance. But what if you could get help with more often? And you could also get reunited with your keys, save a couple of bucks on clothes or at restaurants, even get rescued roadside. You can when you're a member and your insurance is AAA. Insurance that's not just insurance.
Arriba Mexican Grill. Every recipe made fresh daily at 6 Valley locations. The Carlsbad Stuffed Chicken Breast Dinner Special, under $10. Now that's hot. Stop in for happy hour, or bring the fam, or carry out.
Makes it hot. Arriba!
Your life will never be the same again.
My God!
Best season ever.
A star is being born.
AGT live tonight and tomorrow on NBC.
We all know how much America loves This Is Us.
And now it's been nominated for 10 Emmys, including Outstanding Drama.
Our love story, it's just getting started.
Emmy-nominated This Is Us returns Tuesdays this fall on NBC.
12 News live coverage of the president's visit to the Valley continues now. As you look at these live pictures from downtown Phoenix, you can see a lot of people holding up signs. These are crowds of protesters that gathered several hours ago and have been standing out there in the heat all afternoon.
Thousands of people showing up for President Trump's campaign rally today.
Of course, Phoenix is no stranger to big events, but with the high temperatures mixed with the protests expected for the president's rally in downtown, local hospitals have been preparing for the worst. Officials with the Maricopa Integrative Health System say they always train for catastrophic events, and tonight they'll have extra staff on hand just in case things get out of control.
In this case, we'd have myself and a couple other emergency physicians and some of our residents available to come in and help with either trauma, pepper spray exposure, heat stroke, any of those sorts of things.
And over at Banner University Medical Center in Phoenix, a spokesperson says they're also prepared for an influx of patients should there be a need tonight. They also have expanded their emergency department earlier this summer to accommodate more patients. Well, this visit is a campaign rally for the president's 2020 run for the White House. And keep in mind, he was just inaugurated back in January.
Right. Hasn't even been a full year yet, right? Well, we wanted to know how you feel about that. Is it too soon or no? Here's what you had to say.
The next presidential election is not until 2020. He needs to work on what's going on in the country and not campaigning for himself or other people, quite frankly.
For him it is. I'm sure it's something to promote his ideas and his popularity.
It's past campaigning, wasn't that 6 months back? It's time to push forward.
The election's so far off. There's so many other problems that we need to deal with. Why start, campaigning and trying to get voter support now when so much is going to change in the next 3.5 years?
Still ahead on 12 News at 6, we're taking a closer look at President Trump's visit to Yuma. Plus, it's been a hot day. We're just minutes away from your warm weather forecast.
12 Sports is sponsored by your Valley Toyota dealers.
Welcome to Toyota's National Clearance Event.
Thanks. I hear it's your biggest event of the year.
Yeah, you can save on the remaining 2017s. And with 0% APR financing and great lease deals, any of these Toyotas can be yours. We have a few more.
Oh.
During the Toyota National Clearance Event, get $1,000 cash back on the spacious Highlander or up to $1,500 back on a rugged 2017 Tundra.
Oh, wow.
Toyota, let's go places.
I'm attorney Lloyd Baker. Being injured in an auto or motorcycle accident can be devastating. Don't let the big insurance company slam the door in your face. Call me. I bring down the hammer to make them pay. I'm not just an attorney, I'm your powerhouse injury attorney.
I just picked up the cake for the baby shower.
Yay! You know she's having a boy, right?
Oh boy.
Buick now has an SUV for that. Introducing the new Buick Encore.
I knew I could trust you guys with the cake. Oh, no problem. That was close.
One of 3 luxury SUVs from the new Buick.
Current lessees, switch to Buick and use your lease enhancement to get this low mileage lease on this 2017 Buick Encore for around $174 per month with $174 due at signing.
Because practice pays off. Because it's better to give than to receive. Because there's no place like home. MidFirst Bank will always be true to your money, with innovative services that let you focus on what's most important. MidFirst Bank, true to your money.
Oh boy! Looking for adventure this summer?
Holy smokes.
Oh man, that's pretty intense. Look no further than Chevrolet.
This is a fast car. I feel like I left my soul back there.
Wow, this has power.
What a nice car.
Go for thrilling drives and deals today at the Chevy Summer Drive.
I want to take it home with me. Can I have it?
Get 20% below MSRP on all Chevy Cruze LT models. That's over $4,800 on this Chevy Cruze. See your Valley Chevy dealer.
I'm attorney Lloyd Baker. I've helped people throughout Arizona who've been injured in motorcycle and car accidents.
I contacted his office after my motorcycle accident. I got more than what I expected in the settlement, and they become an extended part of your family.
I'm not just an attorney, I'm your powerhouse injury attorney.
12 Sports is sponsored by your Valley Toyota dealers.
Now from Arizona's news leader, breaking news, President Trump in the Valley.
Protesters making their voices heard.
Stop, say what? We want it better for our kids, for our life. That's why we're here. We're supporting our leader. There's no racism here.
All right, we want to give you some 12 News video just coming into the newsroom. This is the presidential motorcade leaving the Mauna Lucia Hotel in Paradise Valley, making its way towards downtown and the Phoenix Convention Center. The president has had a busy day, first flying to Yuma and then here to the Valley, touching down at about 3:45.
That's right. And of course, the president headed down to the Phoenix Convention Center, where we're about 30 minutes or so away from when the president is expected to speak a little bit later on. We're looking at pictures right there. You can see the motorcade just going very slowly. Of course, you can imagine that streets are probably being blocked off and traffic probably backed up in certain areas around downtown Phoenix, where thousands of protesters have gathered, as well as supporters. Thousands, as many as possibly 19,000 could be there at the convention center to hear the president speak.
You know that old expression that someone doesn't travel lightly?
Well, no.
He does not travel lightly.
Just
no president.
I was going to say just the way a president does.
Yeah, no president does. So it's not just a couple of cars, it's a lot of cars. A lot of the armored limousines and the Secret Service and everyone else that accompanies any sitting president when he makes a visit outside of Washington. All
right, and now we're taking a live shot right now in downtown Phoenix. Here's the convention center. You're looking at the podium right now. We've been keeping an eye on what's been happening inside and outside. Still no word yet on who will speak there ahead of the president. But our Team 12 Bram Resnick has just tweeted out that Billy Graham's son, as well as Governor Brewer, are backstage right now. So it's possible, you know, Governor Brewer has been a favorite at Trump's rallies in the past when he was campaigning. And so it's very possible that she may be taking the stage.
A longtime supporter of President Trump. And you see these protesters as you look at live shots from our roof camera here in downtown Phoenix, assembled outside the convention center and then back inside, where the crowd is thankful for the air conditioning inside that Phoenix Convention Center. Many of them waited in line and stood outside for hours today. And that, I think Crystal said it was 108
yes.
Today. You can just imagine how tough that was standing out there in the heat. But thankfully, they're back inside now, where it's nice and cool, waiting for the president's speech. Everything expected to kick off at around 7 o'clock tonight. And of course, we'll bring it to you here on 12.
Okay, continuing our breaking news. Before he made his way to Phoenix, President Trump was in Yuma.
Yuma is a strategic location with a large military presence, and the U.S.-Mexico border, of course, is only a couple of miles away.
Team 12's Nico Santos gives us a closer look at his short time in the gateway to the West.
Right on the money, Air Force One landed at Marine Corps Air Station Yuma at exactly 1:45 p.m. as planned. The pit stop there was announced after his team confirmed President Trump would visit Phoenix for a re-election campaign rally. On his itinerary, a visit with the Yuma Sector Border Patrol and a tour of its boats, drones, and planes. The mayor of Yuma saying he thought the visit would be beneficial for the president and the small town alike.
A lot of times you have to put eyes on things in order to really understand them. So being in Washington, D.C., far away from the border, I don't think a lot of people truly understand it.
Not everyone was so happy with President Trump's visit to Yuma. Across the street from the airbase, protesters showed up saying to dump Trump.
We need the immigrants for the economy of this country. Without immigrants, we are nothing.
Not far away, though, supporters with a Make America Great Again flag.
I want him to see the issues we face here with the illegals, and he'll take care of it and get the wall built.
Either way, the trip served as more than just a better understanding of the border region. White House officials say it was also to observe national security strategies that could be duplicated elsewhere. Customs and Border Protection officials saying illegal immigration in the Yuma sector went down by almost 130,000 apprehensions. They attributed that to better technology and resources, including an already standing border wall. After a closed briefing on border protection lasting less than an hour before Trump made his way to the valley, stopping to shake hands of service members before reboarding Air Force One. Nico Santos, 12 News.
There has been a lot of speculation about the timing of this presidential visit. It comes amid a growing backlash after deadly protests in Charlottesville and an increase in racial tensions.
Today we asked some of our viewers what they thought of the timing. Here's what some of them had to say.
No, definitely not. I mean, you got rising tensions with, North Korea. You've got all kinds of, trade policies he's got to worry about. You've got just so many things that a president should be focused on.
I voted for him. I think he's accomplishing some of the things he set out to do, but I think he's annoying a bunch of people.
No, it's not the right thing to be doing a campaign speech under the circumstances with everything going on now.
Yeah, I think it is. I think he needs to make his position known and make it clear, because I think right now he's kind of on the fence, so to speak, and I think he just needs to make his position clear on everything that's taking place.
As we've mentioned, tonight's visit is a campaign rally for President Trump. So we're asking you, if President Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2020, will you vote for him? You can weigh in to our live interactive poll. Just head to 12news.com/yourvoice.
And right now you can see 71% of the respondents to this poll say no, they would not vote for him again. And I just want to reiterate, look, we get calls and emails all the time, people saying that we fix the numbers. We don't, I promise you. But you can change the numbers by taking part in this. This is the American way. You vote, and your voice will be heard if you go to 12news.com/yourvoice.
Okay, so we've been talking about these supporters and protesters braving the heat out there today. It was close to 110 out there.
Crazy.
I know. Let's check in with meteorologist Crystal Henderson for a quick check of your forecast.
Just think, by this time tomorrow, we could be seeing that sunshine yield to storms, even here in the valley. In the afternoon at any given time on Wednesday, there's a fair chance to see a storm or a shower pop in the valley, and we may even see a little bit of a spike closer to midnight. Here's a look at those lows for tonight. 84 in Phoenix, Prescott 61, 51 for Flagstaff, Page 70 in Winslow tomorrow, 90. The anticipation is for Show Low to max out at 78, 105 for Quartzsite, Tucson 97. And here in Phoenix, we think we'll have the wherewithal to max out at 105. But let's go ahead and show you how things stack up hour by hour. 93 at 10 o'clock lunchtime, still in the double digits. Then up to 102 at 2 o'clock, 103 an hour later. And we won't fall back into the double digits until around sunset. Going to feel a little bit different than it reads on the thermometer tomorrow. You can't take it at face value because we're going to see an increase in that humidity. So with dew points at or around 60, it's going to feel a little sticky out there. So the best shot again is Wednesday night into Thursday morning for storms and showers here in the valley. And of course, very humid, even though you see a slight decrease on the thermometer. Then it's all about the heat as the mercury climbs higher and higher, cracking 110 by Saturday and Sunday.
All right, Crystal, thanks so much. Here's another live look inside the Phoenix Convention Center as we are set to head into our next half hour of coverage. When we come back, we'll have another look inside the Convention Center as the president's rally gets underway.
It's the Kia Summer SUV Clearance Event from the brand ranked #1 in initial quality by J.D. Power 2 years in a row. Hurry in today for great offers on quality Kia SUVs. And now get up to $4,000 cash back on a new 2017 Sorento.
At Dietz & Watson, our family believes that the most important meal of the day is the one spent with the people you call family. It doesn't matter where it happens or when. All that matters is what you bring to the table. For over 75 years, our family has handcrafted premium meats and artisan cheeses that always come together in simple-to-prepare recipes. So it's just a little easier to choose the table together.
drive a truck, or you can team up with one. The 2017 Nissan Titan has your back for the long haul. Backed by America's best truck warranty. 5 years, 100,000 miles, bumper to bumper. Take on any job in Nissan Titan, America's fastest growing full-size truck brand. Get a low $289 per month lease on Titan, or save up to $11,260 on Titan XT.
Search, social, mobile, websites, email. We'll help you manage it all. 12 News Digital.
It's the Kia Summer SUV Clearance Event from the brand ranked #1 in initial quality by J.D. Power 2 years in a row. Hurry in today for great offers on quality Kia SUVs. And now get up to $4,000 cash back on a new 2017 Sorento.
12 Who Care, celebrating the good in our community and recognizing those who make a difference. The Arizona Humane Society is giving animals a much-needed second chance at life.
We always say, gosh, it'll be a wonderful day when we don't have jobs. Sadly, I don't think that's really ever going to be the case.
They went absolutely above and beyond.
Celebrating the community one nonprofit at a time for more than 20 years. 12 Who Care and 12 News.
Well, it's been the big story we've been following all day and really the buildup for the last week to the president's visit. This is his 8th visit to the Valley as you look at live pictures from inside the Phoenix Convention Center where the president is expected to speak at the top of the hour. His 8th visit to the Valley, but his first as president. So this is his first trip to Arizona aboard Air Force One. And this is a president that has two factions that inevitably show up wherever he goes. You have those who support the president and his policies and his critics, and the critics of this president have been extremely vocal.
That's right, and we are just about 20 or so minutes away from President Trump holding that rally at the Phoenix Convention Center. Now, Air Force One landed at Phoenix Sky Harbor shortly around 3:45 this afternoon. Multiple Arizona lawmakers were on the tarmac there to greet President Donald Trump.
Paul Gosar was out there, Andy Biggs, Trent Franks, three of Arizona's members of Arizona's congressional delegation.
Governor Doug Ducey as well.
Governor Doug Ducey was there to greet him. And this is really one of the rare times that you see the president and the vice president traveling together to a campaign rally. The president, of course, aboard Air Force One earlier today, and Vice President Pence aboard Air Force Two. They landed about 10 minutes apart at Sky Harbor. Once again, live pictures from outside the convention center where you can see all of those protesters who've been out there in the heat for just hours. And of course, most of the presidential supporters have made their way inside the convention center room that we're told can hold up to 19,000, and we may hit that number tonight.
Yeah, we heard of people lining up out there getting ready as early as last night, and then very early today. We've been reporting for several hours that thousands of supporters and protesters have been converging on this area of downtown Phoenix. We've seen a lot out there, lots of colorful signs out there. This is live, is it? No, this is the video of his trip earlier today
to Yuma.
To Yuma, yes. He landed there a short time ago, and making a visit there, visiting Marines, and also taking a look at some of the toys that they have there. Some drones, a Predator drone he was said to look at. And obviously you can see a plane there. He was also scheduled to look at some sort of technical vehicle there. All of these things designed to help fight illegal immigration and, of course, protect our border.
Now, this is live TV. This isn't live TV, but we are broadcasting live. So we do want to warn you, there's quite a few offensive images and offensive words that can be used as we bring you our live coverage. This happens to be some tape, but we're doing our best to make sure that you don't see or hear any of these offensive words or slogans or signs, but emotions obviously running very high. We'll do our best to sanitize things, but we're warning you in advance that as we take these live reports from our different reporters, you may hear an offensive word. We have live team coverage of President Trump's controversial visit tonight. We have multiple crews stationed on the ground and expert analysis here in the studio.
All right, we're going to kick everything off with Team 12's Bram Resnick. He is live inside the convention center. Bram, how's it? Instead, we're going to go, we'll get to Bram in just a minute, who is inside the Phoenix Convention Center. But right now, let's head out to Ryan Cody. He is standing outside the Phoenix Convention Center, where thousands of people had been lining up earlier, getting ready to go inside. Ryan, how are things looking?
Massive amounts of people on both sides of the fence here. I want to give you a bird's eye view. We've come up about a story high here. You see the sizable crowd of protesters along the corner of Washington and 3rd Street. Now, this has really materialized in about the last hour or so. And look over here on this other side of the corner, also more protesters greeting the line of folks that are attempting to get into the Phoenix Convention Center. Nick, if you can look over to your right here, what you're looking at here where I'm pointing, this is the end of the line of folks that are trying to get into the convention center, and that line wraps all the way down the street, 3rd Street down to Jefferson, and then across in front of Chase Field, and then back around on Washington Street, again to then this line of folks across the street. I mean, we are talking about thousands and thousands of supporters. The folks that are in line mostly staying quiet. We're just mainly hearing the protesters right now as they're kind of giving the business in a way to some of the supporters that are heading on inside. So that's the scene out here right now, a very busy, a very fluid scene, and we'll stay out here and let's see if all these folks are actually able to get into the convention center. We'll update you on that in a little bit, guys, but back into the studio.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Quite a crowd there. As many as 19,000 people could show up, and Ryan told us a little earlier he thought that maybe those estimates were correct based on what he was seeing out there. So let's keep our team coverage rolling right now in this breaking news. Team 12's Kevin Kennedy is live outside the Phoenix Convention Center, opposite there of Ryan. Kevin, what is it like where you're at?
Yeah, we're at 2nd Street, Monroe. We've been out here for most of the afternoon, and I'll tell you right now, the crowd is pretty much swelled. It's about as big as I've seen it all afternoon. I'm going to guesstimate there's about 2,000, maybe 3,000 or possibly more people out here right now. Obviously, a majority of the people that you're looking at right now that have kind of packed both sides of 2nd Street and Monroe and actually continued down Monroe Street all the way to 3rd Street are protesting Trump's visit here to the Valley. You've got a small section of people that may be kind of intermingling amongst this group of protesters that are certainly Trump supporters, or they're here just to kind of take in this entire experience. But for the most part, all the people that you're seeing right here on this street are Trump protesters. We talked to a few people earlier today, asking them specifically why it was important that they came here today.
Stay out of the street. You understand? Deport Melania! Deport Melania Trump! Deport Melania! I'm confused.
I was told I could walk back and forth. I was told I could walk back and forth.
I'm telling you, you can't. So stay out of the street.
Okay, you can see sometimes when things go live, things can go a little sideways. Kevin Kennedy being told to move by one of the Phoenix PD officers down there, but things getting a little boisterous as we anticipate and get ready for the president's campaign rally tonight at the Phoenix Convention Center.
But one thing we knew was that there would be maximum police presence out there today. Of course, our city officials saying that if anything, they were going to make sure that no matter what, they were going to keep people safe out there. All right, well, as we mentioned, tonight's visit is a campaign rally for President Trump. Tonight, we're asking if Donald Trump is the Republican nominee for president in 2020, would you vote for him? You can weigh in right now. We've got our live interactive poll going at the bottom of your screen. If you would like to take part, just head to 12news.com/yourvoice.
And I just want to point out that the numbers over the last 45 minutes since we went on the air have changed. When we came on the air, it was up around 80% for people who said they would not vote for the president again. Now, 33% of the people say they would vote for the president again.
Yeah, okay. So again, go ahead and let us know. Go to 12news.com/yourvoice. Well, as we wait for the president to take the stage tonight, the world is waiting to see what he says. But is it too soon to make new campaign vows? He's only been in office a few months into his term as president. Team 12's Nico Santos shows us 3 promises Donald Trump made during his inauguration that we still haven't seen come true.
And I will never, ever let you down.
That was President Trump's inauguration address, which kind of reflected a tamer version of the speeches he had during his campaign, a campaign that at times got pretty chaotic.
Politicians have made millions off the backs of hardworking Americans, and that's why I voted for Donald Trump.
He was an outsider. That's what drew a lot of people to the polls to get President Trump into the White House. But many passionately disagreed. Like the protesters at Mr. Trump's rally in Fountain Hills, where demonstrators blocked traffic, chaining themselves to cars. Trump is already on the trail for 2020, but before we get that far, here are 3 goals Trump hasn't achieved yet.
We will bring back our borders.
First, immigration. The border wall Trump repeatedly promised has hit a lot of obstacles. Construction hasn't started, and it's still not clear how the president plans to force Mexico to pay.
To free the earth from the miseries of disease.
Second, health care. His attempts to repeal the Affordable Care Act have failed twice. The president saying nobody knew health care could be so complicated.
Radical Islamic terrorism, which we will eradicate completely.
Trump promised to destroy ISIS within 30 days in office, but ISIS has taken credit for the attack in Barcelona last week. Back here in Arizona, Trump had a strong backing by political figures, like when former Maricopa County Sheriff Joe Arpaio called out other Republicans for their generic endorsements.
Not that I will support the nominee. It would be nice to say I will support Donald Trump.
And former Arizona Governor Jan Brewer defending some of his comments.
Or if someone insults you, that you insult them back?
Well, and I know Donald Trump, and that's not the Donald Trump that I know.
Nico Santos, 12 News.
All right, Nico, thanks. We're just about 10 minutes away from the beginning of the presidential rally, the campaign rally down at the Convention Center. Let's go to Team 12's Bram Resnick, who's inside. Bram?
We're in the middle of a prayer right now, Mark, being led by Alveda King, the niece of the Reverend Martin Luther King. She is the second speaker here tonight. Ben Carson, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, was the first. He was a former rival to President Trump when he was a candidate for president. 2 interesting choices for the first speakers. Obviously, 2 African Americans, both speaking to the spiritual side. There's a possibility we might also hear from Franklin Graham, Reverend Franklin Graham, son of Billy Graham. Franklin Graham, a prominent minister in his own right. That would be another interesting selection to counter much of the criticism aimed at President Trump over the last couple of weeks since Charlottesville. These prominent people, in fact, endorsing the president and speaking to his integrity. We'll have to wait and see how that develops. Again, I believe Franklin Graham is here. I'm keeping my voice down so as not to interrupt the speech, obviously. I believe Franklin Graham is here. We should be hearing, we could be hearing from him. Also, of course, President Trump will speak. Vice President Mike Pence also will speak. And we'll send it back to you.
All right, Bram Resnick, our man inside the Convention Center. He'll be keeping his eyes on the president's speech all night. Thanks, Bram.
Coming up on 12 News at 6, we're counting down to President Trump's visit.
The Arriba Mexican Grill Annual Hatch Chili Roast. Get your Hatch green chilies by the pound, freshly roasted while you wait, starting August 11th. And check out our seasonal menu featuring 4 items made with the freshly roasted chili.
Hatch chilies make shit hot. Arriba!
At the Hyundai Labor Day sales event, we're working hard so you don't have to.
This deal is crazy good.
No, we specialize in crazy good.
Right now, you can get a Tucson for only $179 a month.
No way.
Plus, every new Hyundai comes with America's Best Warranty.
Awesome.
Yeah, get that a lot.
Hurry into the Labor Day sales event and reap the rewards. Better is the reason to buy Hyundai. This is the reason to buy now. Lease a Tucson for just $179 a month or get up to $2,500 in total savings. Only at your Valley Hyundai dealers.
Just think, what if we didn't have local TV and radio? Where would I go for local sports, local politics, a mayor, city council, stuff that affects me every day? How about health? Who's covering things that endanger my family? I need to know now, as it happens, from sources I trust, people in my community. No agenda, no bias like you find on cable and social media, just facts. For news I can trust, I stay local. Support your local station. Text TV to 52886 today.
At American.
High inventory numbers force factories to clear out their warehouses and sell excess merchandise. We take advantage of these low prices so that we can pass the savings on to you. We only pick the best quality furniture at the best prices. This allows us to give our customers a discount. Come and see what kind of special purchase we've made, because these are one-time purchases at huge discounts, and we're passing the savings on to you.
How do you want to live? As a decent person? Good husband? Is that it? Good? Of course not. Parent of the year? Better. Making her heart skip a beat. Thump. Undeniable. Like a boss. Like a pro. We couldn't agree more. We are professional grade.
For a limited time, get 20% below MSRP on almost every 2017 GMC Terrain model. That's nearly $8,000 below MSRP on this Terrain.
Arriba Mexican Grill. Every recipe made fresh daily at 6 Valley locations. Need lunch? We've got a new special for every day of the week for under $6. Now that's hot, just like our Hatch chilies.
Makes it hot. Arriba.
Welcome back, everyone. We are covering breaking news right now of President Trump's visit to the Valley, his 8th. His first as president, though. Right now, you're looking at live pictures inside the Phoenix Convention Center. Up on the podium right now is Franklin Graham. He is Billy Graham's son. He is giving some remarks to all of the supporters, thousands of supporters inside the Phoenix Convention Center. We've already heard from some other speakers. Ben Carson, the U.S. HUD Secretary, has also addressed the crowd, as well as Alveda King. She is the niece of Martin Luther King Jr. She was up on stage just a short time ago.
And let's bring you some live pictures from outside the convention center, where crowds of protesters continue to swell, as has the police presence. Phoenix police knew in advance. They vowed that they would keep this thing orderly, and they have done that. Of course, political discourse, a great American right, as long as it's peaceful. And that's what Phoenix police are hoping for tonight, that this all stays peaceful. The protesters have grown as the sun has started to go down. It's gotten a little bit cooler out there. And there's probably an element of those who are just curious after what we've seen at other rallies over the last few weeks. They wanted to experience this firsthand and see what these rallies are all about. So you have those who are anti-Trump, you have those who are pro-Trump, and then you have probably just the normal curiosity seeker.
And probably a lot of people coming out to see if it would be confirmed that the president did pardon Joe Arpaio. We now know that from the president's White House that will not happen. It's not expected to happen here anyway. It could eventually happen, but it will not happen here. And that's what I think had a lot of people talking about this and the potential that things could get maybe out of control because things would get heated on both sides. People there to support Donald Trump and what he has to say, and then, of course, those opposed to the fact that maybe he would pardon Joe Arpaio.
In about 4 minutes, we're going to send you to live 12 News coverage of the president's rally. The president, of course, in town for a 2020 campaign rally, even though he's only 6 months into office. We asked you, is it too soon to start campaigning? Here's what some of our viewers had to say to us.
The next presidential election is not until 2020. He needs to work on what's going on in the country and not campaigning for himself or other people, quite frankly.
For him it is. I'm sure it's something to promote his ideas.
and its popularity.
It's past campaigning, wasn't that 6 months back? It's time to push forward.
The election's so far off. There's so many other problems that we need to deal with. Why start, campaigning and trying to get voter support now when so much is going to change in the next 3.5 years?
Okay, we're just a few minutes away from when President Trump is expected to speak at the Phoenix Convention Center. We'll be right back.
Experience unparalleled luxury at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event before it ends.
Lease the 2017 ES350 for $299 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Daily Blast Live to me is an opportunity to learn about what's going on locally, nationally, and globally.
Digital and television fell in love, and we have Daily Blast Live.
In the moment, you're getting our real, authentic thoughts.
We don't bite our tongue with how we feel, nor do we do it with each other.
We want to hear your opinion, and we want to broadcast it and bring you into an actual conversation.
We're taking tweets, we're taking comments, we're taking videos every single day.
It makes it spontaneous. It gives you another element to look for.
Weekdays at noon only on 12 News.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Many people with Medicare may be able to get extra benefits and don't even know they're available. You may be able to get dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. The Medicare Coverage Helpline is accepting calls to see if you're eligible to enroll now. You may be able to get extra benefits including dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Making sure you go to the doctor and taking all your medications as prescribed can help protect your health. To make it easier, you may now be able to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes coverage for dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Help protect your health by choosing the right plan for you and get all the benefits you deserve.
Call to see if you may be able to get extra benefits, including dental, vision, and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're eligible to enroll and may be able to get extra benefits now. Call 800-610-4706. That's 800-610-4706.
At Dietz & Watson, our family believes that the most important meal of the day is the one spent with the people you call family. It doesn't matter where it happens or when. All that matters is what you bring to the table. For over 75 years, our family has handcrafted premium meats and artisan cheeses that always come together in simple-to-prepare recipes. So it's just a little easier to choose the table together.
Experience unparalleled luxury at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event before it ends.
Lease the 2017 ES350 for $299 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Welcome back, everyone, to 12 News continuing coverage of the president's visit to the Valley. You're looking at live pictures from inside the convention center at the podium where the president is expected to speak within the next few minutes. We're going to keep our coverage right here, and then as soon as the president takes the stage, we'll get you there live. I believe that is Vice President Mike Pence coming out, waving to the crowd. The former son of Billy Graham, the famed evangelist Franklin Graham, just wrapped up. But here's Vice President Mike Pence, so President Trump can't be far away. Let's listen in.
Hello, Arizona. It is great to be back with the good people of the Copper State and with Franklin Graham, Alveda King, Dr. Ben Carson, and the man you helped elect, the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. You know, if the past 7 months have shown us anything, it's that President Donald Trump is a man of his word and he's a man of action. Since inauguration, President Trump has been busy keeping the promises he made to you and to every American. 7 months of action, 7 months of results, and 7 months that will be remembered as the days we began to make America great again. You know, President Trump's leadership inspires me every single day. And while left-wing activists and their allies in the media have been busy ignoring and distorting the facts. The American people know the truth. President Trump has been relentlessly delivering on the promises he made to the American people, and America is back. Under President Trump, we're rebuilding our military, restoring the arsenal of democracy. And this president's already signed the largest increase in military spending in a decade. President Donald Trump is the best friend the armed forces of the United States will ever have. And thanks to the courage of the American soldier and the vision of our commander-in-chief, ISIS is on the run, North Korea and Iran are on notice, and we are once again giving our soldiers in Afghanistan the support and the tools to win. And under President Trump, we're supporting the men and women of law enforcement as never before, including the brave men and women of the United States Customs and Border Protection. You know, the president's already signed the largest increase in border security funding in a decade, and illegal crossings at our southern border are down by nearly 50%. And since day one of our administration, President Trump has been fighting every day for American jobs and American workers, and optimism is sweeping across the country. Businesses large and small have created more than 1 million new jobs this year. Unemployment hasn't been this low in 16 years, and more Americans are working than ever before. President Donald Trump is renewing America's strength and protecting our people at home and abroad. But rest assured, this president knows that America's strength ultimately comes from our faith and our commitment to our most cherished values. That's why President Trump has stood without apology for the God-given liberties enshrined in the Constitution of the United States of America. And that's also why this president knows that when we are united, there's nothing we can't accomplish together. Now tonight you'll hear the president speak about his agenda and his vision to make America great again. But the reason this president also wanted you to hear from these three great leaders is because President Donald Trump knows the greatest source of America's strength is in the hearts and minds and the unity of the American people. And our president knows, as the old book says, that if his people who are called by his name will humble themselves and pray, he'll hear from heaven and he'll heal this land. As America heard last night, President Trump believes with all his heart, in his words, that love for America requires love for all its people. He said, when we open our hearts to patriotism, there's no room for prejudice, no place for bigotry, no tolerance of hate. And so, with gratitude for his courage, for his vision, and for his unrelenting determination to make these United States of America great for every American again, it is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you my friend and the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump.
And I'm proud to be an
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Wow. What a crowd. What a crowd. And just so you know, from the Secret Service, there aren't too many people outside protesting, okay? That I can tell you. A lot of people in here, a lot of people pouring in right now. They can get them in. Whatever you can do, Fire Marshal, we'll appreciate it. And I want to thank our great Vice President, Mike Pence, for the introduction, as well as my friend, Dr. Ben Carson. And thank you to a very, very special man, Franklin Graham, Reverend Franklin Graham, for leading us in prayer. And thank you to Alveda King, the niece of the great Dr. Martin Luther King. It really shows you that America is indeed a nation of faith. We know that. Well, I'm thrilled to be back in Phoenix, in the great state of Arizona. With so many thousands of hardworking American patriots. You know, I'd love if the cameras could show this crowd, because it is rather incredible. It is incredible. It is incredible. As everybody here remembers, this was the scene of my first rally speech, right? The crowds were so big, almost as big as tonight, that the people said right at the beginning, you know, there's something special happening here. And we went to center stage almost from day one in the debates. We love those debates. But we went to center stage and we never left, right? It's all of us. We did it together. You were there at the start. You've been there every single day since. And I will never forget. Believe me, Arizona, I will never forget. And I'm here tonight to send a message. We are fully and totally committed to fighting for our agenda, and we will not stop until the job is done. This evening, joined together with friends, we reaffirm our shared customs, traditions, and values. We love our country. We celebrate our troops. We embrace our freedom. We respect our flag. We are proud of our history. We cherish our Constitution, including, by the way, the Second Amendment. We fully protect religious liberty. We believe in law and order, and we support the incredible men and women of law enforcement. And we pledge our allegiance to one nation under God. You always understood what Washington, D.C. did not. Our movement is a movement built on love. It's love for fellow citizens. It's love for struggling Americans who've been left behind, and love for every American child who deserves a chance to have all of their dreams come true. From the inner cities to the rural outposts, from the Sun Belt to the Rust Belt, from east to west and north to south, our movement is built on the conviction that every American from every background is entitled to a government that puts their needs first. It is finally time to rebuild our country, to take care of our people, and to fight for the jobs our great American workers deserve. And that's what we're doing. After our amazing election victory, the forgotten men and women, remember we used to talk about the forgotten men and women before the election? Guess what? They're not forgotten anymore, right? Anymore. No, they're not forgotten anymore, folks. In fact, they're trying to figure you out. They're saying, the obstructionists, how do we get them to vote for us? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. We believe that every American has the right to live with dignity. Respect for America demands respect for all of its people. Loyalty to our nation requires loyalty to each other. We all share the same home, the same dreams, and the same hopes for a better future. A wound inflicted upon one member of our community is a wound inflicted upon us all. You saw last night. You saw last night. Did anybody watch last night? Yeah. When one part of America hurts, we all hurt. And when one American suffers an injustice, all of America suffers together. We're all together. It's time for us to follow the example of our brave American soldiers, and I was with a lot of them last night, Fort Myers. No matter where they come from, no matter what faith they practice, they form a single, unbreakable team. That's what we are. We're a team. As a nation, we're a team. They're all united by their devotion to our country and to their mission. It's time for all of us to remember that we are all on the same team. We are all Americans, and we all believe right now in America first. And it's happening, and it's happening fast. I see all those red hats and white hats. It's all happening very fast. It's called Make America Great Again. You see what's going on. It's coming back very fast. We want every child to succeed, every community to prosper, and every struggling American to have a chance for a better life. What happened in Charlottesville strikes at the core of America. And tonight, this entire arena stands united in forceful condemnation of the thugs who perpetrate hatred and violence. But the very dishonest media, those people right up there with all the cameras, so and I mean truly dishonest people in the media and the fake media, they make up stories. They have no sources in many cases. They say a source says there is no such thing, but they don't report the facts. Just like they don't want to report that I spoke out forcefully against hatred, bigotry, and violence, and strongly condemned the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the KKK. I openly called for unity, healing, and love, and they know it because they were all there. So what I did is I thought I'd take just a second, and I'm really doing this more than anything else, because you know where my heart is, okay? I'm really doing this to show you how damn dishonest these people are. So here is my first statement when I heard about Charlottesville. And I have a home in Charlottesville. A lot of people don't know. Here's the first. Can't believe they haven't figured that one out yet. Now they know. Now they finally know. But I don't want to bore you with this. But it shows you how dishonest they are. And most of you know this anyway. So here's what I said, really fast. Here's what I said on Saturday. We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia. This is me speaking. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. That's me speaking on Saturday, right after the event. So I'm condemning the strongest possible terms, egregious display, hatred, bigotry, and violence. Okay, I think you can't do much about it, right? Okay, but they didn't want to put this on. They had it on initially, but then when they talked, he didn't say it fast enough. He didn't do it on time. Why did it take a day? He must be a racist. It took a day. Dishonest people. So here is me. I hope they're showing how many people are in this room, but they won't. They don't even do that. The only time they show the crowds is when there's a disruptor or an anarchist in the room. I call them anarchists. Because believe me, we have plenty of anarchists. They don't want to talk about the anarchists. So this is me. It has no place in America. I'm talking about hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. What is vital now is a swift restoration of law and order and the protection of innocent lives. No citizen should ever fear for their safety, security in our society, and no child should ever be afraid to go outside and play or be with their parents and have a good time. This is me speaking. Here's further. This is on Saturday, the first one. I did this 3 times. We have to come together as Americans with love for the nation and true affection. Really, and I say this so strongly, true affection for each other. I didn't say true affection for you and you. I said for each other, all of us, all of us, all of us. But they don't report it. They just let it go. Above all else, we must remember this truth. No matter our color, creed, religion, or political party, we are all Americans first. We love our country. We love our God. We love our flag. Then I went on. This is my first statement. And they said, remember, they said, well, he wasn't specific enough. Why wasn't he more specific? So in my second statement, I got really specific. And they said, why didn't he do it faster? I'm telling you, folks, look, I know these people probably better than anybody. And a lot of people have a problem with it because, look, what happens with them, if they're doing a story about me, I know if it's honest or false. If you're reading a story about somebody, you don't know. You assume it's honest because it's like the failing New York Times, which is like so bad. It's so bad. Or the Washington Post, which I call a lobbying tool for Amazon. Okay, that's a lobbying tool for Amazon. Or CNN, which is so bad and so pathetic, and their ratings are going down. Right? But all the network, I mean, CNN is really bad, but ABC this morning, I don't watch it much, but I'm watching in the morning, and they have little George Stephanopoulos talking to Nikki Haley, right? Little George. And he talks about the speech I made last night, which, believe it or not, got great reviews, right? They had a hard time. They were having a hard time because it was with soldiers. We were somber, we were truthful, we were saying things, and it really did. So he talked about it for like that much. Then he goes, let's get back to Charlottesville. Charlottesville. And Nikki was great. She's doing a great job, by the way. So now, I say we have to heal our wounds and the wounds of our country. I love the people of our country, the people, all of the people. It says, I love all of the people of our country. I didn't say I love you because you're black, or I love you because you're white, or I love you because you're from Japan, or you're from China, or you're from Kenya, or you're from Scotland or Sweden. I love all the people of our country. So I said, here's this is, by the way, folks, this is my exact words. I love all the people of our country. We're going to make America great again, but we're going to make it great for all of the people of the United States of America. And then they say, is he a racist? Is he a racist? Then I did a second one. So then I did a second one. Don't bother, it's only a single voice and not a very powerful voice. How did he get in here? He's supposed to be with a few people outside. How about all week they're talking about the massive crowds that are going to be outside? Where are they? Well, it's hot out. It is hot. I think it's too warm. You know, they show up in the helmets and the black masks, and they've got clubs and they've got everything. Antifa! So on August the 14th, so that was it. And I said, all people, I love all people, everything, right? Now I figure I'm going to do it again. I'll be even more specific. So I said, based on the events that took place over the last weekend in Charlottesville, I'd like to provide the nation with an update, because that was right after the event, the first one, right? An update on ongoing federal response to the horrific attack and violence that was witnessed by everybody. To anyone who acted criminally in this weekend's racist violence, you will be held fully accountable. Justice will be delivered. That's what I said. Listen to that. I said that, but they don't show that. They don't show it. They'll take one thing like, seriously, he was late was the best thing. He was late. So I said, to anyone who acted criminally in this weekend's racist violence. Okay. Then I go, we must love each other, show affection for each other, and unite together in condemnation of hatred, bigotry, and violence. We must rediscover the bonds of love and loyalty that bring us together as Americans, right? Then I said, racism is evil. Did they report that I said that racism is evil? You know why? Because they are very dishonest people. So I said, racism is evil. Now, they only choose, like a half a sentence here or there, and then they just go on this long rampage, or they put on these real lightweights all around the table that nobody ever heard of, and they all say what a bad guy I am. But, I mean, do you ever see anything, and then you wonder why CNN is doing relatively poorly in the ratings? Because they're putting like 7 people, all negative on Trump, and they fired Jeffrey Lord. Poor Jeffrey. Jeffrey Lord. I guess he was getting a little bit fed up, and he was probably fighting back a little too hard. They said, we better get out of here. We get him out. And those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, and other hate groups that are repugnant to everything we hold true as Americans. Now, let me ask you, can it be any better than that in all fairness? And I mentioned that, but to the best of my knowledge, when there was a big problem, Barack Obama never said it took place because of radical Islamic terrorists. He never said that, right? He doesn't have to say it. You know why? Because they have a double standard. Because the media is totally dishonest, and they have a double standard. You've never heard them say that. And in fact, if you use the term, you get criticized. But with me, they wanted me to say it. I said it. And I said it very clearly, but they refused to put it on. Those who spread violence in the name of bigotry strike the very core of America. These are my words. This was on Monday, August the 14th. So you had Saturday, you had Monday. I mean, I was going to do one of these every week, but you would never get it right. In times such as these, America has always shown its true character, responding to hate with love, division with unity, and violence with an unwavering resolve for justice. Then I finished. I said, we will defend and protect the sacred rights of all Americans. All is capitalized ×5. Not just you. And we will work together so that every citizen in this blessed land is free to follow their dreams and their hearts and to express the love and joy in their souls. Okay, now, I mean, so they were having a hard time with that one because I said everything. I hit them with neo-Nazi. I hit them with everything. I got the white supremacists, the neo-Nazi, I got them all in there. Let's see. Yeah, KKK, we have KKK. I got them all. So they're having a hard time. So what did they say, right? It should have been sooner. He's a racist. It should have been sooner. Okay. So it should have been. So then, the last one, on Tuesday, I did another one. We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence. It has no place in America. But they also said that he must be a racist because he never mentioned the driver of the car, who is a terrible person, drove the car, and he killed Heather. And it's a terrible thing. But they said I didn't mention. So these are my words. The driver of the car is a murderer. And what he did was a horrible, inexcusable thing. They said I didn't mention. And then they asked me, just to finish it, they asked me, what about race relations in the United States? Now, I have to say they were pretty bad under Barack Obama. That I can tell you. But they asked me the question, and I said, well, I think jobs can have a very big and positive impact. I think if we continue to create jobs like I've done, over 1 million since I've been in office, way over 1 million. I think if we continue to create jobs at levels that I'm creating jobs, I think that's going to have a tremendously positive impact on race relations. I do. And the other thing, very important, I believe wages will start going up because we now have the lowest unemployment rate we've had in 17 years. So you're going to see wages go up, right? They haven't gone up for a long time. I believe wages now, because the economy is doing so well with respect to employment and unemployment, I believe wages will start to go up, and I think that will have a tremendously positive impact on race relations. Go on it, yeah. So that was my words. Now, you know, I was a good student. I always hear about the elite. You know, the elite, they're elite. I went to better schools than they did. I was a better student than they were. I live in a bigger, more beautiful apartment, and I live in the White House, too, which is really great. I think, you know what? I think we're the elites. They're not the elites. So the point is, and I didn't want to bore you because you understand where I'm coming from. You people understand. But the point is that those were three different. There were two statements and one news conference. The words were perfect. They only take out anything they can think of And for the most part, all they do is complain. But they don't put on those words, and they don't put on me saying those words. The media can attack me, but where I draw the line is when they attack you, which is what they do. When they attack the decency of our supporters. You are honest, hardworking, tax-paying, and by the way, you're overtaxed, but we're going to get your taxes down. You're tax-paying Americans who love our nation, obey our laws, and care for our people. It's time to expose the crooked media deceptions and to challenge the media for their role in fomenting divisions. And yes, by the way, they are trying to take away our history and our heritage. You see that. And I say it, and you know, we're all pros. We're all like, we have a certain sense. We're smart people. These are truly dishonest people. And not all of them. Not all of them. You have some very good reporters. You have some very fair journalists. But for the most part, honestly, these are really, really dishonest people, and they're bad people. And I really think they don't like our country. I really believe that. And I don't believe they're going to change, and that's why I do this. If they would change, I would never say it. The only people giving a platform to these hate groups is the media itself and the fake news. Oh, that's so funny. Look back there. The live red lights, they're turning those suckers off fast, I'll tell you. They're turning those lights off fast. Like CNN. CNN does not want its falling viewership to watch what I'm saying tonight, I can tell. I mean, the advantage I have is that we do have a big voice. And you know, they're always saying like Twitter or social media. If I didn't have social media, I wouldn't be able to get the word out. I probably wouldn't be standing here, right? I probably wouldn't be standing here right now. If I don't have social media, I probably would not be standing. And do you ever notice when I go on and I'll put like out a tweet or a couple of tweets, he's in a Twitter storm again. I don't do Twitter stuff. You know, you'll put on a little tweet, I'm going to be with the veterans today. They'll say, Donald Trump is in a Twitter storm. These are sick people. You know the thing I don't understand? You would think they'd want to make our country great again. And I honestly believe they don't. I honestly believe it. If you want to discover the source of the division in our country, look no further than the fake news and the crooked media, which would rather get ratings and clicks than tell the truth. I mean, the New York Times has written some stories. How about this? The New York Times essentially apologized after I won the election because their coverage was so bad and it was so wrong and they were losing so many subscribers that they practically apologized. I would say they did. They say, well, it wasn't really that much of an apology because they were losing so many people because they were misled. And I figured this is great. And for about 2 weeks, I got good coverage. Then they reverted back and they're worse than ever before. You know, it's like one of those things. The Washington Post is terrible. But these are dishonest. But let me tell you, you have some great honest papers. You have some great networks. I must tell you, Fox has treated me fairly. Fox treated me fairly. They've treated me fairly. Hey, I'll let you know. You know what? Someday they might not treat me fairly, and I'll tell you about it, okay? But they've treated me fairly. And I don't mean all good. I get plenty of bad on Fox, too. But at least it's within reason. And Hannity, how good is Hannity, he said. How good is Hannity? And he's a great guy, and he's an honest guy. And Fox and Friends in the morning is the best show, and it's the absolute most honest show. And it's the show I watch. Not only does, oh boy, those cameras are going off. Oh, wow. Why don't you just fold them up and take them home? Oh, those cameras are going off. Wow. That's the one thing. They're very nervous to have me on live television because this can't happen. Now, you know what? I'm a person that wants to tell the truth. I'm an honest person, and what I'm saying, you know, is exactly right. Not only does the media give a platform to hate groups, but the media turns a blind eye to the gang violence on our streets, the failures of our public school, the destruction of our wealth at the hands of the terrible, terrible trade deals made by politicians that should have never been allowed to be politicians. And the unaccountable hostility against our incredible police who work so hard and such a dangerous job. My administration is committed to the idea that all Americans have the right to live in safety, security, and peace. We believe in the rule of law because we know that freedom cannot exist if our people are not safe. And how safe are you at a Trump rally? Remember at the beginning, remember when this already started? When this started at the beginning, they used to send in thugs. They'd swing. Our people are tougher than them, so it wasn't always very good for them. But they'd send in thugs, and our people would protect themselves, and then you'd go home and you'd watch this violence. Let me tell you, see this room? You got people outside, but not very many. But see this room? You're safe in this room. You're very safe in this room. It's a big room. The most sacred duty of government is to protect the lives of its citizens, and that includes securing our borders and enforcing our immigration laws. By the way, I'm just curious, do the people in this room like Sheriff Joe? So, was Sheriff Joe convicted for doing his job? That's what. He should have had a jury, but you know what? I'll make a prediction. I think he's going to be just fine, okay? But I won't do it tonight because I don't want to cause any controversy. Is that okay? All right? But Sheriff Joe can feel good. The people of Arizona know the deadly and heartbreaking consequences of illegal immigration. The lost lives, the drugs, the gangs, the cartels, the crisis of smuggling and trafficking. MS-13, we're throwing them out so fast, they never got thrown out of anything like this. We are liberating towns out on Long Island. We're liberating. Can you imagine in this day and age, in this country, we are liberating towns. This is like from a different age. We are taking these people. They don't shoot people because it's too fast and not painful. They cut them up into little pieces. These are animals. We are getting them out of here. We're throwing them in jails and we're throwing them out of the country. We're liberating our towns. You've seen it. You've lived it. And you elected me to put a stop to it. And we are doing a phenomenal job of putting a stop to it. That I can tell you. After years of defending other countries' borders, can you believe we fight for other countries? We want to defend their borders. We're finally defending our own borders. And we're showing compassion for the struggling American workers who are now starting to see the light because plants are pouring back into our country. And by the way, we're doing a lot of good work on that, but a lot of people are coming back in. We have Foxconn, they make the iPhones, as you know, for Apple, and so many companies are building now in our country, including the auto companies who are coming back. Years of uncontrolled immigration have placed enormous pressure on the jobs and wages of working families, and they've put great burdens on local schools and hospitals. While this may be good for a handful of special interests, it's unfair to working people of all backgrounds all throughout our country. We want every American community to succeed, including our immigrant communities, but they can't do that if we don't control our borders. Earlier today, I visited with the incredible men and women of ICE and the Border Patrol during a visit to Yuma sector. I was over at the Yuma sector. It was hot. It's like 115 degrees. I'm out signing autographs for an hour. I was there. That was a hot day. You learn if you're in shape, if you can do that, believe me. And they actually told me, actually, sir, it's relatively cool today. Can you believe that? But it was great. And I met with the Border Patrol, and I met with ICE, and these are incredible people, the job they do. In fact, General Kelly, who was in charge of Homeland Security, where people coming in down 78 and almost 80%. He did so good, I made him my chief of staff, right? That made sense. John, where's John? Where is he? Where's General Kelly? Get him out here. He's great. He's doing a great job. But we did a lot. Before anything happened, we did a lot. We respect and cherish our ICE officers and our Border Patrol agents. And we respect and cherish our police officers and our firemen and all of our uniformed services. But during that visit, I heard firsthand from the frontline agents about the security threats they confront each and every day. And I pledged my continued resolve to them and all of you to keep our country safe. All around the nation, I have spent time with the wonderful Americans whose children were killed for the simple reason that our government failed to enforce our immigration laws, already existing laws. And I promise these families the deaths of their loved ones will not have been in vain. I promise them. I know so many of them. One by one, we are finding the gang members, the drug dealers, and the criminals who prey on our people. We are throwing them out of the country, or we're putting them the hell fast in jail. We are cracking down on the sanctuary cities that shield criminal aliens, finally. And we are building a wall on the southern border, which is absolutely necessary. Build that wall. Now, the obstructionist Democrats would like us not to do it, but believe me, if we have to close down our government, we're building that wall. Let me be very clear to Democrats in Congress who oppose a border wall and stand in the way of border security. You are putting all of America's safety at risk. You're doing that. You're doing that. Again, the Border Patrol today, I said, how important is the wall to some of the folks? I met with a lot of them. And they looked at me, they said, it's vital. It's vital. It's so vital. And you know, we have walls. I don't know if you know, we're already starting to fix a lot of the walls we already have because we don't have to rebuild them. And we want walls that you can see through in a sense. You want to see what's on the other side. But we're starting to fix a lot of the walls. We've done a lot of work. But I said to them, how are we doing and how important are the walls? And they said, Mr. President, you have no idea. It is desperately needed. We're going to have our wall. We're going to get our wall. And that wall is also going to help us, very importantly, with the drug problem and the massive amounts of drugs that are pouring across the southern border. My administration will never back down in demanding immigration control. The American people voted for immigration control. That's one of the reasons I'm here. And that is what the American people deserve, and they're going to get it. So you put pressure, but believe me, one way or the other, we're going to get that wall. Immigration security is also a matter, remember this, of national security. That's why we're implementing tough new vetting and screening protocols to keep radical Islamic terrorists out of our country. You look at what just happened in Spain and so many other places. Nope. We're really vetting. We're tough. Does anybody want me to be soft on the vetting, or would you like me? Extreme vetting. I came up with that term. That's what it has to be. So I have a message for Congress tonight. Your job is to represent American families, American people, American workers. It's your job. You need to represent them on the border, on taxes, on health care, one vote, and on every other issue that affects their lives. And for our friends in the Senate, oh boy. The Senate, remember this, look, the Senate, we have to get rid of what's called the filibuster rule. We have to. And if we don't, the Republicans will never get anything passed. You're wasting your time. We have to get rid of the filibuster rule. Right now, we need 60 votes, and we have 52 Republicans. That means that 8 Democrats are controlling all of this legislation. We have over 200 bills. And we have to speak to Mitch, and we have to speak to everybody. And I want to tell you, we have some great, great Republican senators. We really do. And they fought like hell to get that thing approved. They fought. They really did. They really fought. Now, even on health care, because of reconciliation, which you don't know, it doesn't matter, it's a trick, we needed 51 votes. But when you need 51 and you have 52, and we include the vice president, who always votes with us, he's the greatest. But you have no margin. But some of the best things in health care require 60 votes. So even when you say we're voting on health care, like across state lines, purchase across state lines, one of the most important things, I've been talking about it for 2 years during debates. It gives competition. Insurance companies come in, your prices go way down. Arizona is a disaster in terms of the price increase of your insurance, 116% increase. You got to get rid of the filibuster rule. You got to go to a majority. You got to go to 51 votes. And if they don't do that, they're just wasting time. All of the Democrats in Congress, that's the only thing they do well. They do one thing well. You know what it's called? They have no ideas. They have no policies. They obstruct. That's all they do. Their word is, we resist. They don't resist. They obstruct. It's all they're good at. It's all they're good at. That's all they do. On health care, they have 48 Democrats. We got no votes. We got no votes. And it would have been great health care. And by the way, would have been great health care for Arizona. Would have been great. So the Democrats have no ideas, no policy, no vision for the country, other than total socialism, and maybe, frankly, a step beyond socialism from what I'm seeing. Under their plan for America, your taxes will double or triple, your services will diminish, and your borders will be left wide open for everybody to come in and enjoy our country. Obamacare is a disaster. And think, we were just one vote away from victory after 7 years of everybody proclaiming repeal and replace. One vote away. One vote. One vote away.